Hello, everybody. It's me, Serena, your absolute favorite Nalita Pera, and I'm back with the unwritten version of Cartoons Drag Race Season 2. So, this season was full of riggery, and I'm excited to unrig it as it was full of riggery. And who doesn't love to unrig a very rigged season? And after all, the result at the end will be shocking. So, let's move on, bitches. So, let's start without any further ado. Let's move on to the first episode. Before that, let's see the cast of the season. Not gonna lie, this cast was amazing. This cast had a lot of drag legends in it. Like Mr. Smithers was a drag legend, Roger was a drag legend, and a lot of newbies, queens, but they were also very talented. We have seen their talents in the show. I knew Gardevoir would be fashion queen. I've seen her work in the Instagram and Pokemon world. Jinx is an amazing charismatic queen, and it was amazing to see her drag sister compete this time around. Like Jinx and Gardevoir competing together in one season would have been great. But I'm glad that Gardevoir and Jinx got the time separately, and that's great for me. I think it's the best thing they could do because we want both of them to do the shit separately because they're drag mothers. But not gonna lie, I have to be honest. These were my thoughts pre-season, and as much as I love Jinx, she didn't really fare well in season one. Though I do feel like if she stayed, she would have made much farther. And we saw what happened to Gardevoir in the season, so let's just move on to Unrigging. Lol. Now, first episode was a design challenge, and for me, first episodes are always fairly judged. These episodes decide basically the deciding factor of how the queens will do in the future and who they want to push. So in the first episode, Jinx mothered Butters and Squid, and Sideshow Bob actually give great looks. For me, the bottom two was agreeable. Brian
Other high
and
placements because others
Squid
also did
were
really
not
well.
able to excel at the challenge. And
But I feel
as
like
much as I
Goofy and
love
Coco
Roger, I
deserve
really
the high
expected a
placement
lot
because we
from
know how
Roger
the
in this
arcs would
challenge,
go.
but they
So
were
it's best
not
to
able
give
to
them a
do
high
well.
placement this
But
episode.
for me, Roger
As for
still
the
did good
bottoms,
enough.
I think the
Could have
bottom three were pretty clear.
Linda, but I
Lois,
think
Chan, and
Roger being
Chief
low does
Wiggum did
make
not
sense. In the bottom two,
excelled.
the lip
I
sync
think
was
Lois was
good.
the best of the three, obviously, so she deserved that
Okay-ish,
low.
and
Stan and Chief
I
Wiggum
don't
deserved.
know, but I think for the storyline purposes, Brian Griffin going home does make sense because I feel like Squidward has more to offer in the competition. No degrees this episode. Let's see what happens next episode.
Now, this episode was actually a pretty good one, but there we had few riggeries. So, first riggery. So I don't disagree with anything in the top three. The top three were agreeable, and for me, Roger had a deserving victory this episode. I would personally give the win to Squidward because they had both stunning runway and a great challenge performance, but so did Roger. And not gonna lie, both were in the bottom last episode, so it makes sense that Roger wins because we know Roger is making towards the end, and Squidward got the redemption arc of getting a high placement. Omi was also great high placement, I think it's deserving. As for the bottoms, now I don't know business why Linda Belcher was not in the bottom. Linda Belcher was boring this episode. They given her Linda Belcher safe. Now I agree with the bottom two of Gardevoir and Jinx. It's actually a fun thing they actually did it too early of them. I do think they could have saved it for future, but they had a perfect opportunity as both Jinx and Gardevoir were the worst ones this episode. I totally disagree with Mr. Smithers being low. They had one of the best runway of the night, and for me, Linda had the worst runway of the night. So Linda could have been low this episode. Rest I agree. Now, episode 3 was a girl group challenge. This was judged in teams, and not gonna lie, for me, it was a waste of thing. I don't like things to be judged in team because it causes a lot of riggery. So, we will not be judging it teams. In fact, we'll be judging it individually. So, I completely agree with the top half actually. The winning team, all of them ate, especially Mr. Smithers. This was a deserving victory for Mr. Smithers. I know you all hate Mr. Smithers and think that he's the most undeserving winner, but he definitely did well in the first 3 episodes, and he got a bullshit low placement in the second episode. This episode, he deserved his win. I could definitely see Gumpel getting this win, but I think Mr. Smithers overall was the best one this episode. As for the bottoms, now just excuse me, but how the fuck Linda Belcher was getting so pushed? I understand Linda is the drama queen of the season, but why is she getting so pushed? She was doing so bad. In this episode, she was the worst performer and she got pushed because the rest of the team did so well. I completely agree with Butters being low. Butters' runway saved him. Squidward and Linda bottom two because yes, they deserve the bottom two. And Squidward ate the lip sync, and we saw Linda only do one lip sync this season, and she did pretty bad on it. So I think it's a fair elimination that Squidward sends Linda Belcher home. Now, yes, this is the insane part. Linda Belcher, who originally made all the way to top 5, is going home next this week, third. And that actually makes it a very good season because for me, Linda was the pushed queen of the season. And if she's gone, the season will be becoming more fair. So, episode 4 is the talent show. This episode was mostly fair, which is shocking. For me, the tops are correct. Now we have Linda Butters over Linda Belcher. Linda Belcher actually did really well this episode, but the three outshined her. I do feel like Butters would struggle this episode, and I feel like Gumball thought he did bad. Like I think he could be also in the bottom two, but I feel like Squidward and Butters. I feel like Butters would do worse overall, and I feel like Squidward. They were done by Squidward by now, like three flops and only one good performance, which is also not really win worthy. So yeah, I think it'll be bottom two, and I feel like Squidward would go. Now Squidward actually did well in the lip sync, but I could see that Squidward actually gave up. He was a lip sync assassin, but at the same time, he didn't try it. And I feel like Butters could actually give a decent lip sync. Yes, Squidward actually sent Butters home, but I feel like in this case, Butters would actually be able to send Squidward. So we'll go. Hi doll. So this was a Snatch Game episode. We know this was actually one of the fair episodes. I do think that the top three was correct. Sideshow Bob completely ate the Snatch Game and the runway. It was a fair win. Roger and Omi were deserving high. This was a very fair judging, but for the bottoms. Now, instead of Linda Belcher, who actually did kind of great this episode, and rest we have actually, instead of Linda Belcher, we have Butters. So we have Linda, Gumball. Oh, I'm sorry, not Linda. Gumball, Butters, Mr. Smithers, and Jinx. Not Jinx and Mr. Smithers did bad, but I feel like Butters will also not do well this time. I'm not sorry, but this was not a challenge. I see Butters flying, and Gumball actually did great. I feel like because it was so close, I think it depended on what. And for me, Linda's runway kind of helped her originally to save her from the bottom, and that made Gumball low. But Gumball did amazing. And this scenario, I think Gumball would be safe. In the bottom three, I feel like Mr. Smithers will be low. Now, yes, Mr. Smithers gave the worst Snatch Game of the episode and one of the worst Snatch Games of all time. But the runway was insane. I think the runway would save. And I feel like even Butters would flop the lip sync. Not the lip sync, sorry, Snatch Game. I'm so sorry. I'm so damned. I feel like Jinx runway was also kind of not good. I think Jinx would be in the bottom with Butters. And we know how this is going. Jinx didn't deserve to go home this episode. She did amazing on the lip sync. And I feel like Butters, it's your time. Jinx would send Butters home in the bottom to lip sync, and we get to see Mother Jinx for another episode, mama. Para. Ow, oops, sorry. I just love morphine the divorce. Okay, honey. Now it's time for us for episode 6 Girl Group. For me, this episode was amazing. All of them did amazing, except for two, Smithers and Gumball. Everyone outshined. With Jinx here, I'm pretty sure she would eat. She originally ate the girl group challenge, but so did Smithers and the flawless one, lol. Mine was Jinx's mother, so I feel like she would eat lol. Okay, so I completely didn't. I feel like Roger should win this episode. Linda was the second best this episode. I completely agree with that. Linda being second is amazing, but I understand why she got the win. She has been trying her best. She may got her pushed, but I think that this is a challenge they could have validated her win. But this for me was Roger's win overall. I actually Hmm, I do agree. I do agree with Sideshow Bob being high, but I would actually bump Jinx too high and Ovi too low. I know we haven't seen Jinx's performance, but she originally ate the girl group challenges, and I know she would eat this too. Like, she is mother. And Omi had the worst runway of the episode. I feel like Jinx would actually have a great runway. Like, this the category I feel like Jinx would devour. So I feel like Jinx would be high. I don't think she's winning because, yeah. But I feel like she would be third best overall, and I feel like a high placement would be amazing for Jinx. I feel like Omi still should be proud of Low. It's a good. He still did great. I was debating on putting no lows this episode, but we need to put one since there was originally one. I completely agree with the bottom two. They were the worst ones this episode, and the lip sync was bad. But track record wise, I think yeah, it's fair that Mr. Smithers stay and Gumble goes. Gumble did their best. They have been doing consistently good. They had their downs in the competition, but they still did amazing. But yeah, it was their time. It's the remix episode, y'all. So this episode was agreeable. Smithers was amazing. Omi was high, but I would push Roger high because Roger had the best runway of the night. I would actually do highs because it is up. So we are having two high placements, and we bottom two of Jinx and Sideshow Bob. As much as I love Jinx, I feel like in this set, I feel like she would bottom. Sorry. So Sideshow Bob and Jinx bottoms, and Sideshow Bob's track record is too good. So I feel like this is a sad decision, but sadly, we are sending home our mother, our legend Jinx. She was amazing, and sadly, she didn't dominate All Stars, but I'm sure she will dominate a future versus the world. So our finalists of season are Omi, Roger, Sideshow Bob, and Mr. Smithers. The same top four, but we did have some placement changes that you could say. Yeah, baby. Okay, so we'll now see the track records of each of them, and then we will determine who will be the top two and Ellen. I personally hate that lip sync for the crown format because it caused a lot of riggery, but we have to follow it, and the top two of the season were. So Omi has a track record of 0 wins and no bottoms. Roger has 2 wins and 0 bottoms. Sideshow Bob has 1 win and a bottom, and Mr. Smithers has 3 wins and a bottom. These are the track records. And that's the tea. And the winner of this season is Mr. Smithers. I know most of you hate him, but you can't deny the fact that he was the best contestant this season. Like, his track record is amazing. He kind of got few bullshit placements, but he also got few raw placements, and that's all. Thank you and goodbye.